This presentation highlights the features and benefits of THEOREM's Multi-CAD solution. Many companies today have to work in a mixed CAD environment. While they use CATIA V5 as their prime CAD system, they also have UGNX installed in order to support working on specific product programs for major customers and to support suppliers. Using CATIA but needing to work with UGNX data poses a particular set of requirements and challenges. Faced with the need to use both CATIA V5 and UGNX to complete a single product design and manufacturing task, you have a number of options available to you. The traditional approach is to translate the UGNX data to CATIA V5, using either a standards-based solution such as STEP or a direct database translator. In doing so, the original UGNX data is converted to a CATIA V5 representation. This task is either carried out by members of the design team or alternatively undertaken by dedicated translation specialists. Whoever translates the data, it's run as a separate process, creating a file on disk, which then has to be loaded into CATIA. One of the problems with this approach is recognizing when a design change takes place in UGNX and managing the process of updating the CATIA V5 representation to take into account those changes once the initial translation process is completed. Another challenge is knowing what translation options to choose to get the best result in CATIA V5. If STEP is the method, you need to run UGNX to create a STEP file. Then run CATIA's STEP processor to generate a CATIA file. This takes additional time and uses more computing resource, and all links back to the UGNX data are lost. THEOREM Solutions Multi-CAD product is an interactive CATIA V5 application to enable you to work with UGNX data. It's based upon Dassault Systèmes' strategic XCAD technology, so ensuring the data is always optimal for CATIA and of the highest quality. Multi-CAD enables the CATIA V5 user to interactively work with native UGNX parts and assemblies in an active CATIA session. This is achieved by simply selecting the UGNX part or assembly to be inserted into CATIA V5. This allows you to work with the UGNX data to perform design in context and manufacturing in context activities. As a user, you don't need to know anything about data translation or UGNX to use the product. A further benefit of Multicad is that a 3D XML file can be created from the UGNX data, enabling you to share the ultra-lightweight 3D XML file as part of a Microsoft Office document internally or externally with suppliers, or use it in applications such as 3D Live and 3D Via. We'll now demonstrate Multicad so you can see how easy it is to use, and also see the benefits it brings over traditional data translation methods. In this case, as a CATIA user, we're primarily interested in using the UGNX data for design in context purposes, and to maintain an associative relationship back to the UGNX file. Working inside CATIA, you choose to insert an existing component. You browse the file system and select the part which in this case is a UGNX assembly of an oil pan. It's then loaded into CATIA. If it needs repositioning, that's done using standard CATIA commands. You now have the full assembly structure to work with in CATIA. We'll now show you what happens when the original part is modified. To do that, we'll go into UGNX and make a modification, and then close and save the file. As you can see, it's an assembly in UGNX, and we'll change the shape of the oil pan. For the purposes of the presentation, we'll make a major modification to its shape. Going back into CATIA, we open up the full engine assembly and we're immediately notified that the oil pan subassembly has changed. Accepting the changed part causes the CATIA assembly to be updated with the latest version of the UGNX file. Using THEOREM's CATIA V5 Multi-CAD product closes the gap when working in a mixed CAD environment by retaining an associative link between CATIA V5 and the original UGNX data. Multi-CAD detects changes at the part and the assembly level. So, as changes take place in the UGNX data, the CATIA V5 user is able to detect the modifications and automatically update the active session to reflect those changes. Because you're running inside CATIA, the operation of the translator is transparent to you. You don't have to directly run the translator. The action of selecting the UGNX data causes the translator to run and the selected UGNX parts or assembly files to be translated on the fly and loaded into CATIA. You can choose to have either the CAD part representation or CGR representation of the UGNX file loaded. Because the UGNX file is an assembly, as you can see, a CAD product has been created. As well as handling parts and assemblies, Multi-CAD will also bring over any 3D annotations, dimensions, and feature control symbols which are contained in the original UGNX file. Having that data enables you to carry out manufacturing modifications or process planning operations because the key dimensions and tolerances are now available to work with. THEOREM's Multi-CAD product, as well as being used in the above manner, can also generate 3D XML files from the source UGNX data. This capability is part of the standard product. Along with the UGNX part and assembly information, the 3D annotations, dimensions, and feature control symbols can also be used to create 3D XML visually equivalent data, enabling you to share the ultra-lightweight 3D XML file with manufacturing groups or suppliers and to use the data in 3D Live and 3D Via. So, we'll now open the original UGNX data in the 3D XML player and manipulate the product and navigate around it. Being much smaller in size, it's very quick and easy to manipulate. One other benefit of 3D XML data is that it can be used with Microsoft Office products, and here we're loading it into a Word document. In Word, you can manipulate and edit the file and save it as needed, and add text using standard Word functions. The file can also be used with PowerPoint and Excel. While the primary use for Multi-CAD is as an interactive tool, there's the option of running it as a batch process to enable you to load large volumes of UGNX data into CATIA, or to generate large volumes of 3D XML files. Multi-CAD, as well as being available for CATIA V5 users, is also available for Delmia and Enovia users, and provides the same functionality and benefits as demonstrated here. As well as buying the product in unidirectional form, that is, UGNX into CATIA V5, it can be purchased as a bidirectional product, adding the capability to take CATIA V5 data into UGNX. However, in this direction, the interactive and associative linking of data are not available. Operating Multi-CAD in this mode, you can run the product from a graphical user interface or in batch mode from the command line. As a CATIA V5 user, having to work with UGNX data in order to support specific product programs for major customers or to support suppliers, Multi-CAD will make that task far easier. It ensures you're always working with the latest version of the UGNX file and enables you to do that from inside CATIA. Being built on Dassault's strategic XCAD technology also ensures that you're working with optimal quality data inside CATIA. By supporting 3D annotations, dimensions, and feature control symbols, you have all of the information needed for critical manufacturing tasks. The additional option to output rich but ultra-lightweight 3D XML files to share with other departments or suppliers is an added benefit. If you'd like more detailed information on Multicad and the options and commands used in this demonstration, please contact THEOREM on these numbers or send us an email.